Day 2 started out with poor prospects, but it did improve as the morning progressed. I decided to start out by cleaning out the upper pond to see how good a job we could do cleaning it out and transfer that to the bigger pond. So I started out scraping out the algae and seeing how deep it was without having to wear hip waders.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor.
Colton came out to join me, and after some discussion we decided to move the drainage pump to the upper level so we could see how far we could go with that little pond. We brilliantly dragged it up there and had it fall off the trailer, then moved it around to best position the hoses because the output hose likes to be dead straight, so we needed to aim it up into the wood somewhere.
Hi, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together again.
Having drained the upper pond down to nothing but muck, we decided to move it and started looking for a better place to put the pump to make it easier to drain stuff out of the lake. Obviously we tried here by the dry creek bed, and it was able to reach up into the woods pretty nicely, and I had to hang on to it to keep it from getting completely fouled up with mud and leaves to get any water to come out of it. Eventually I came up with the swish method, where you keep washing the tip back and forth to get the leaves to come off of it, but you still had to lift it out every now and then to pull the leaves off and then eventually pull air. Next up was a ridiculous attempt to save some of the goldfish. There was about an inch or two of water above the mud at that point, so you would try and scoop them up and get mostly mud. I eventually got 6 or 10 of them and stuck them up in the sewer pool up on the tennis court. And then the rain came back. After about 15 or 20 minutes of working, we eventually decided that rubber waders were probably non-protective in the face of lightning and decided to quit at that point. Also, we had to have the pump back by 12:30. Back at it in the afternoon. Carol came out and took over for me because, quite frankly, I was still napping. Eventually, I got up and joined her outside, and we got to it. If you're wondering why I took the tailgate off the trailer, it's because it's a whole lot easier to lift a 60-pound bucket into a trailer than to lift it up over the side. Old man problems. The reeds are an interesting situation. I talked to the original builder, not the last owner, and he doesn't remember putting any plants into the pond. And they're all over the place. And when you get down into the water, there's a huge mat of roots underneath the water and mud. Very hard to cut through, and you're at risk of cutting the pond liner, so you have to reach over under the water and tear them apart, at risk of falling flat on your butt in the middle of the water and getting stuck in the mud. And the root balls are really heavy. While I was dumping out that load, Carol went up into the woods to trim back some trees to hopefully give us a closer location to dump some of the mud. Wasn't sure how soon I would start using that because I was afraid of it smelling bad for our closer neighbors and ourselves, but it's good to have options. Time to look for some flat places down close to the water to put the buckets so they don't fall over while you fill them up with mud. It gets harder and harder as you scrape up the mud close to the edges and get closer to the middle with no places to put the bucket. As you can see, I've given up on the removal of the tailgate method in favor of the kettlebell chin lift with 60 pounds in hopes of making my shoulders be gigantic by the end of the week. And that was the last load of the day. I decided I couldn't take any more and called it quits.